they banned out the Braum, and they're probably going to go Alistar, which I don't really understand because Braum is like what is the counter to Bard, right? But if you pick Alistar and then they just go Bard, when Key's just been an animal on Bard when I saw him playing it earlier today, it doesn't really make that much sense from TSM's draft because they're going to get the Alistar, but Ever's just going to get like Bard, and they're going to get another strong jungler like Elise.
And especially connected with Kalista, it's such a strong 2v2 lane that I'm pretty sure TSM is going to look to lane swap, but Ever is going to know that they want to lane swap, and it's just going to depend which team actually gets what they want. And if Ever gets 2v2, I think it's going to be really hard for TSM to even do anything starting from the start of the game.
And that's something we've actually seen a lot today. Doublelift and Yellowstar have been struggling in the 2v2 matchups. They're not really on the same page. Doublelift could go for that Ezreal if he wants to keep going for the blue build. And here's the Nautilus top that we've spoken so much about. Kikis, it must make you excited.
It's still possible for a flex pick. Like, some people actually played support still. It's not that often, but it's still a good thing to catch someone off guard because Fiora is still open. So, for example, TSM wants to pick Fiora now. They want to leave their mid lane for last pick. They can actually pick something else into Fiora and just send Nautilus bottom.
Before I talk about the Fiora, I mean, you former jungler moved to top lane this year, and we see the Graves locked in. How much has the jungle changed now? You know, from your opinion, because you're formerly a jungle main.
I mean, in my prime, I guess you can say, because we were very good at the time. I was in the Cinderhulk meta, so I was playing Tongs before, I'm playing tanks now, so I'm just like tank player overall. But for now, it just seems there's a lot of carry junglers that, with efficient farming and a lot of smart play, like balancing between ganks and getting the minions. A lot of champions are strong with the items like Graves, Nidalee, and they just can carry the games by itself in the jungle actually, and then I just played tank on top lane.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. It's working for G2, of course. Darshan, Fiora locked in for Honsa and the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kog'Maw went all the way to the 3-4, and something you usually see in TSM drafts is they've been early picking Lee Sin all day, which kind of leaves them like they're really physical heavy and they're like starving for that magical damage, but Kog'Maw kind of fills that void in. And I've never really seen Kog'Maw go to the 3-4, so I think Ever almost wants them to pick Kog'Maw, and like champions like Nautilus just deal really well, and especially with like the Bard and Lux, they just have an insanely good comp for dealing with Kog'Maw, so I think they're going to have no problem catching them out. And even though TSM got the Fiora pick, which does insanely well splitting against Nautilus, I feel like they're going to try and group up and team fight again with the Kog'Maw, and that's where Ever is going to do really well. And if TSM can split with the Fiora, I think that's their ticket to win the game so far.
Well, they couldn't split earlier today when they played ESC Ever, and it was because they wouldn't split and play the map that they ended up losing at the Baron pit. So pressure on Team Solo Mid. The Lux and the Bard round out ESC Ever's team composition. And what is this telling you now, Kigis?
With the team composition? Like, I think with how, okay, I can say messy the games were before because there were a lot of people getting caught, a lot of fights and stuff. I really dislike the Kog'Maw pick actually because I'm pretty sure he's gonna die a few times this game and he's just gonna fit if Ever plays prepared actually. So they have a good team come against it. They have Nautilus ulti, he just pops ulti on his head, and then it's not much. Actually, Zillion can do something, but I still think it's not good.
If somebody gets caught, you've got Zillion to revive them. Like if that's something we've learned from today. We're not seeing a huge amount of Zillion in EU, maybe only 1 or 2 players, but I think a little bit more popular in NA. Do you like this in a Protect the Cog comp?
I think Zillion's probably the one pick that can save him. Doesn't matter if you get caught, you just get ulted and you're back at full life. And I think Zillion just the ultimate bait if you never play against them. So honestly, pretty good pick by TSM here to kind of try and round out the team comp, because they're going to want to try and group up and team fight with the Cog Zillion. And that's actually a pretty good combo. It's similar to having a Lulu Cog, but it's Zillion Cog, he just revives you and speeds you up instead. So not bad.
To be honest, with the setups I see, I think it's actually going to be, okay, W dies one time, Zillion ultis him, okay, he's gonna die second time. And then
that's also very likely.
Sure. So, Kikis, I've asked every other analyst today to make a prediction on who they think will win off the picks and bans. Will it be ESC Ever or Team Solo Mid?
I think Ever's got this.
Okay, so game 1 to Ever. Darshan?
I'm just going to go for TSM. I'm just going to try and keep the NA dream alive.
All right, so split opinions on the analyst desk. The fans at home are heavily in favor of TSM with 2/3 of the vote. You can see some nervous players on stage. Gentlemen, thank you for helping me pick some bands. We'll be back after the game. For now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, a new TriCast will take us into the final series of the day.
casters. This is the closest I'm going to get, ladies and gentlemen, to the ELCS, but we won't worry about that. It's going to be Deficio and
It's like the greatest old school ELCS caster, then the greatest current ULCS caster, and the greatest caster in the future.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's coming after your job, man.
Apparently,
you better watch it.
I don't mind. He has a long way to go.
It's got a long way to go. Well, speaking of long ways to go, it's another best of 3 here. This time, TSM up against EVA. They surely can't make the mistakes they made this morning.
I mean,
I'm not too sure about that one.
They can make them, but yeah. How much gold is enough?
The irony is, I remember this morning, it was like, do we need the Korean translator? Do we need Susie on stage? No way. They just got the pentacles, like, they can't throw this. You don't need it. It's okay, you don't need to come down. It's like, oh, Christ, someone find Susie. Yeah, so...
it was a rough game.
It was a rough game. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's EVA up against TSM. TSM just gone through a grueling best of 3 against Origin. Literally throwing the game back and forward at each other. It was like a match of tennis without the rackets, and just basically who.
And you also don't throw anything in tennis. That would be kind of weird if you start throwing stuff in tennis.
I mean, handball maybe.
He doesn't know what handball is.
Denmark
from the UK.
isn't big on handball, right?
His feet.
We invented handball.
Foot to ball.
Yeah, you guys look like you invented handball.
Hey, I mean, we are the great. Well, actually, we kind of suck at it now.
To be fair,
we used to be good.
We invented football, we suck at that. We invented rugby, we suck at that. We invented cricket, we suck at that. I mean, we're just not very good.
So the lesson is, don't invent anything, because you'll be bad at it. Just copy what everyone else is doing.
We have Kasing. We have Kasing right now. He's our shining beacon. But right, okay, let's talk about the team comps. Let's talk about the game. What do you guys predict? Obviously, we heard what the pros had to say on the desk.
Right.
What do the analysts think?
We're big fans of the Bard-Lux combo, especially. So much pick potential also into this low mobility AD carry. He has to stand still to machine gun his way. Bard is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the Bard Callisto lane just overall has incredibly strong trading, which kind of will force Doublelift and Yellowstar to swap, or just do the go into lane to mind game almost, because it's such clear swap away on the side from DSM that it may actually mind game by just going bot. And Ever looks to kind of buy into that mind game because they set up the swap themselves. They will find Hanser here. Look for the double stun.
Well, I think you're just going to walk away from that one, Sven.
Don't look for the double stun.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go greedy. We saw some interesting plays from these guys in the last match.
So we've seen this before, where one team in a lane swap is invading aggressively and then starting on their own weak side. So you can see Graves on your minimap is starting on his own red buff, even though his dual lane is on top side. And because you invade in and the other team does not, you stop them from doing a camp. You actually push them out, and you will now get 3 buffs forever. And Ares here, he's there. Greediest player I've ever seen for buffs. He will literally Graves ulti for buffs later on.
Yeah, he Graves ultied Krugs earlier today. I know, I love Krugs and all, but so you use a Graves ultimate, there's a line, and he crossed it. The good thing about 3 buffs right now,
oh, look at this.
Essentially is though, they're re-swapping it around.
Yellowstar is going top to defend together with Hanser and also secure the buff for Sven. Double is on his own.
He's face checking.
Oh, he might not get away with this one. That's going to be the exhaust down. Key's in trouble. Here he has some very strong performances in the first game, but he will be first blood giving up. It's going to go across the Haunter, and now Loken's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get caught out. Can Loken even get away from this? This could be a double. It's a disaster for ESC EVA. And this is just like game 1. They got a great start, but can they not throw it away this time?
Yeah,
please?
TSM do our job for us. We don't even have to explain the counter to 3 buffing, because they just showed it to us. Completely catch Key by surprise, because he just assumes that somebody will be max alone in the jungle and not a support top laner dual lane there.
But this was not even supposed to be a good play, because Crazy technically could just instant TP bot lane. Doublelists were pushing the lane alone. Crazy could have TP'd in instantly, picked up I don't know how much CS, got almost like 2 levels ahead probably of Hanser. Instead, he was trying to run top to save his teammates. Already got caught out.
But he's just like so flabbergasted, because no team this is the first time I've ever seen something similar like this the entire season, pretty much. The point I was trying to make earlier is that like a 3 buff kind of gets nullified by tempo loss, because the time you spend clearing all those camps, you kind of get behind in the lane swap in terms of tempo, and that's why generally you don't see it punished. But this is the first time I've actually seen one of these aggressive 3 buff attempts really punished by TSM, and Yellowstar with a good flash combo there to seal the kill.
Still, I mean, what we normally would have seen was Graves would just skip his blue buff and just walk straight into enemy jungle to pick up another red buff and then give blue buff to Luxa like level 5. She has a great laning phase then with the blue buff spam, and then he goes top anyway. But it gets, as you said, completely countered and surprised. I'm still not sure it's a good play overall because of Crazy getting the balls. But because they got the 2 kills,
TSM's 1,000 goal ahead.
Yeah. Because
No,
they
I
got
get you,
the
I get
kills,
you.
it is a good play. But if you just like do it 10 games in a row, I'm not sure it's going to pay off.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Doublelift was getting free farm as well, but we do see a 4-stack from here. 3 members of ESC ever here. They're going to go down towards Crazy. Crazy's getting pinned out. Haunter's running distraction duty, but they couldn't get the kill, and Yellowstar took a lot of tower damage there. But they're still in a 4v3 situation, so they still have the advantage, and it looks like they may try and get a second bite this Jerry.
Yeah, Ever playing with fire. They're baiting a 4-man dive instead of like trying to hide under the tower to at least hang on there.
Yellowstar's just regenning. He's just regenning. TP's coming down. This is going to be Haunter joining the party. It's a 5-man pile-on. This time, Key's going to try and block out the damage, but they do manage to get 1 in there. A good trade. A 1-for-1 so far, but TSM will get out with the 2. But that's still very clumsy.
Well, I mean, Team Solo Meta are not afraid to pull off some crazy plays here. First, changing the lane swap to counter the double buff, get 2 kills. Then set up a dive bot lane here, even though Tempt had TP as well. And it would always be 4v5, because Kalista is stuck in the top lane right now. And there's so much CC, like one guy who's tanking the tower who missed positions, and he dies. Like Hans in this case does go down because he gets snared in the very end. But
these bombs, though.
It's still enough, man. Beautiful doubles.
We've seen fairly little Zilean, and just the power of Zilean on these dives, because it's so, usually you can at least juke a skill shot, you know, maybe left, right, but the AoE of those bombs, Bjergsen just places them in the same place, and they will proc, you know, the AoE explosion on multiple members, and that just wins TSM that dive completely, because Kalista was isolated farming in the top lane, so TSM needed to get a solid advantage from that to make it worth their time.
Only other option would have been just put Hans at top lane with his TP. Problem is the lane was pushing towards Logan, and he would be a level ahead of him, could actually be a bit of a bully. In that 1v1, that's why Team Solo Mid said, let's dive bot lane instead. Reset the whole thing, get the 2v2 with some early kills. Hans has 2 kills on his Fiora. I mean, he's going to be a massive split pushing threat. Nautilus can't do anything 1v1 against him later on.
Well, let's see how that reflects on the game. You know, we've seen enough of GBM playing Zilean over in America, one of the first guys to bring it out in the NALCS. So
Nuke Duck as well.
Bjergsen looked at that. Well, yeah, Nuke Duck did do it, but GBM did it first, didn't he?
Yeah. But it's also classic Bjergsen, you know. Look what everyone else is playing, going like, oh, you play Zilean?
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Zilean,
they banned all 3 champions against him, so it was focused. Doublelift playing with fire there, coming out, but he's got himself that blue buff, so we'll see how much pressure he can put down on this one. Yellowstar's just above.
He's just hiding in the lanes.
Sitting there hiding in the
eating some grass.
Well, they're trying to, I mean, I guess they're trying to bait him in, but
I don't think you want to make that bait at this point if you're a Kagwan, though, against that lane.
Danger play.
There's one thing in the bottom lane, though. Hansa is actually pretty far behind in experience. We talked about how Crazy could just TP bot lane when Team Solo Mid made that move on the red buff, and he picked up quite a lot of waves. So despite him dying on the tower, he's still 2 levels up, which is massive because it means the Fiora is obviously going to take that much longer to really become anything.
Well, considering you got no vision really above the top, and Ares pretty much went all across the jungle, Hansa was definitely playing with fire, but Ares didn't fancy going for that crazy kill. Rift Herald, though, will get started off with TSM here.
Yeah, Crazy misses out on the big trade, though. That dredge line now connecting and going to the wall means the Riptide would miss. The auto attack really didn't do much, so Hansa could have been there, could have left that trade at like half HP. That would have put him in dive range of Ares, so it's the little things that count. Bjergsen,
not quite enough to finish it off. That's risky stuff from Bjergsen, trying to go for the double bomb stun, but he will get out alive, and Tempt using that ulti, as I remember good old Froggen saying many a time, use it on cooldown.
Yeah, use it on cooldown and try and snatch some unlucky raptors on the way, and apologize to your jungler, you know, oops.
Oops, sorry, that just missed shot there.
You know how that goes.
This is the setup here. Now, Sven and Yellowstar want to go for this. Crazy does have TP, as does Haunter, so this could get very messy very quickly.
Oh, it's too risky. I mean, there's a level 6 Nautilus coming in with ulti as well. If you don't instant-kill a target, they have to go for just key here almost.
Well, there's the flash. There's the pulverize. Headbutt yet to follow, and they're already backing out of this one. They realize this is a danger play. Look at the 2 mid laners coming up the river. They're going to join in. They may actually catch on towards each other. Key does manage to get on towards Yellowstar. There's going to be the ulti catching on towards him. He's going to have to back away from this one. Doublelift now. He's the front line. That's a disaster. The exhaust goes down. He's in trouble. Temp comes around the side. You can see Sven Skeren trying to make a play on towards him. Bjergsen, oh, he misses the stun. That's Doublelift surely going down. Has got the ulti down on towards him from Bjergsen. Will come back, but there's no way out for him. He's gonna get locked down. Doublelift will drop, and it's Ever that come out on top.
But we gotta go back all the way to the start of the play. We'll get there, though. Let's watch Sven Skeren right now.
Oh, he can safeguard to Yellowstar.
Oh, that laser catches the both, though. Ares can jump with this. Key goes in. That's Horrible, horrible stuff. So well set up. Yellowstar. Are they going to catch him out? The ulti doesn't quite do enough.
Oh, he can journey right here. He can journey over the next wall and then do a Q auto.
His journey, he used it a moment ago. He moves, I think it was on cooldown.
Come up there. But it all starts with the play. They're setting up the dive. They're talking about the dive. And while Yellowstar's like, okay, guys, 3, 2, Svensken, why are you doing Grump? Svensken finished off the Grump. Yellowstar flashes in, and then they decide not to go. What's here? Svensken is still finishing up that Grump. He has stuff on cooldown right now. And then Loken gets hit into the wall, and now they hesitate.
Now, Horns had TP the whole time as well, by the way, throughout this.
Yeah,
just chose not to go.
The problem also with this play is Hans is level 5. He has like 0 impact if he actually TPs in. He wants to just sit and farm. Temp does have to flash away. Look at Crazy here, and he's hooked with the Nautilus straight into the smaller wall, so he actually doesn't get double lift.
Yeah.
Ends up making it a little bit more difficult forever, but definitely some miscommunication. Sven is greeting a little bit for that Grump.
Yeah, and miscommunication on the side of TSM for sure. Like, Yellowstar not sure if he should join the fight or leave it. And while ever they're all on the same page, Temp collapsing inwards, using that shield to kind of help him and his teammates. Key with some really solid Bard moves right here overall. And then the chase right here, the double laser. That actually gives Aris enough mana, I think, for the level up. I don't know why he doesn't ulti here. Yeah, because he dashes in. I think he doesn't have enough mana for ulti. So he waits, gets the level up right now. And now he can go for the chase. And Yellowstar almost drops there.
Nice little flash from Crazy as well to dodge the double bomb. So Bjergsen went for it and would have turned that fight very differently. But 4 kills to 3. Ever proving once again that they are very much up for a fight, a brawl. And TSM, we were talking about it on the desk at the start of the show. Many hours ago, you guys may have slept in between then. There was, I know a lot of the Americans went to bed as soon as the game finished.
Hey,
they'd be back awake and going, what? ESC ever? Is this a replay?
Here at IEM, we cater to all viewers, you know. If you're in China, you were asleep at the start, or in America right now, we run so long
global
today that we go full global.
Full global, but yeah, do not adjust your sets. This is, once again, TSM versus Ever. It's a best of 3 this time around, but we were saying, going back to my point, we've gone around the houses. Going back to my point, we were saying that TSM have the 5-man brawl, but Ever proved many times they will skirmish all across the map. And while they even tried it against RNG, didn't quite work out so well for them. There's Key getting caught out, but there's no follow-up because Bjergsen was already caught out by Key.
Just a great ulti from Key, avoiding the double bomb coming by stunning Bjergsen there, so he's able to escape. But yeah, I mean, Ever normally is a team who actually likes to play this 1-4 split push, but they've been picking Nautilus quite a bit and opting more into big team fights. Obviously, it did give them a win over Team Solomid earlier.
The Nautilus is kind of a product of the Bard pick as well, because it just works so well together. Either the Bard ulti into lockdown for the Nautilus to close the gap in these team fights, or just Dredge Line being used, or Depth Charge, and then you can follow up with any of these Bard spells, and then they had a TF2 earlier in the game. They just synergize so well with their CCs, and very rarely do they overlap. Hansa, on the other hand, though, here in the bot lane, in that plane and top lane, yes, that was good from Ever, but he managed to close the gap right now, back on even CS, back on even levels too, so he's back in the game, and that was the cost of that play from ESC Ever.
And that really opens up a lot for Team Solomid, because even though they don't split push that well, it is a big part of how they can win the game, because you have a Fiora pick into Nautilus. It's where we got to see if this team has learned anything. The coaching staff has been watching the games. Bjergsen said in the interview they could learn and fix it.
I mean, if you go back to the first game, they were attempting the split push, but they ended up having to double stack it.
Well,
and then they went, okay, and they realized this isn't going to work. Let's go try force a Baron, and then that just went horribly wrong for them.
They should have learned, and they should just keep Hansa in a side lane for as long as possible. Only let him join a fight if he can get like a perfect flank and there's nothing he can gain 1v1. Otherwise, there's no reason to move him in there, because it means Nautilus can just team fight as well.
Yeah, at this point, Hanser has to be the one dictating the tempo of the game. Get back to it, because Double Lift's going to walk into the rush.
Oh, Double Lift. Well, I mean, he was the original face checker, so it's only right that he goes and does it. I mean, he didn't even get a chance to face check. They just went at him before.
We're keeping it old school today. Face checking, double lift, D-Man is on the desk. I mean, we're keeping
only
it very
team
old school.
fighting, barely any split pushing, couple Baron throws, making it easy.
Just keeping it fresh for the old guy. Oh, Ares, okay. Bjergsen. Oh, nice catch there. He does manage to flash out. Tried to dash, but Horns has followed through.
Oh.
Rift Arrow on him, but that's going to be tricky for them. But he does get the kill, and they're going to allow him to escape because they can just wrap around. And Tempt wasn't really close enough to help out.
And this is actually important for TSM as well. Yellowstar's having a good game, because the last few games he's been overextending, dying a lot early in a failure attempt to peel. He is playing Alistar. It's a little bit easy mode to actually, get out of fail free card with that ultimate. But he's still 0-0-5 right now.
Svensken trying to set up for something on Tempt here. Yellowstar around the side. This is a three-pronged attack, and Tempt is reading it like a book.
Still going to the tower, though. Can't really... I guess you can actually ult the wave, so that's
maybe
good.
You can just do that. That is what you
works.
Can do with...
Apparently you can wave Cliff Lux ulti. Today we learned. All of us learned that today.
I mean, I know you're a bit rusty, mate. You haven't seen it for a while, so...
Yeah, Lux. Pick we've seen a bit in LPL, a bit in Korea. Not too much in Europe.
Where's Sushi when you need him?
Yeah, we need Sushi back.
Sushi? I mean,
I could use some sushi.
Maybe you need some sushi? I don't know. Not really fancying it here, I've got to be honest. We're a little far away from the sea. Just anyway. Svenskeren gets himself the red buff. Now, is he going to continue? He is. There's going to be the yellow star flash. There's the pulverize. Logan's going to get focused. He gets exhausted down. Double lift comes in. There's the damage. The second shot follows through nicely. Svenskeren might get taken out here. He will by Tempt. But it's a 2-for-1. There's the revive. And that is why you have a Zilean.
Yeah, and this is another way the Zilean pick actually makes a lot of sense for TSM, because one of their main failures in the last game versus Origin was that Svenskeren was diving in too deep, too far all the time. But he can actually go for that forced play because he will at least have a Zilean ulti reviving him on the way out.
The whole time we thought it was for double lift, but we realized it's for Sven diving too deep. There we go. They've realized how to fix their problems. It's just get a sixth player.
He's working really well together with Yellowstar. This is like the second or third time we see a double-pronged attack or a follow-up on each other, or at least they have some synergy. They're not executing it perfectly, but at least they're moving together. They're placing down vision. They're becoming a roam squad instead of just resorting to this early 5-man death ball.
And while the pick and ban phase from Team Solo Mid tends to be a little bit predictable with some of the early picks with Alistar and Lee Sin, it is the comfort picks for these two players who have been struggling before. So it's super important they get them. We see the play here. Ever is not in a position to fight because Yellowstar gets a good flank, and in mid lane, Tempt is still trying to run and join his team. He doesn't have a good position. You can see him here on top of your screen. He's not really in the fight yet until now. And then it's too late because it's also too easy for Bjergsen to line up the ulti and just save whoever is low enough to actually die.
I mean, it was a risky engage. You saw Doublelift use the flash to engage, which is very, very risky on a Kog'Maw. It's going to be down for a while. Now, the question is, did Ever notice that flash in between the clump of team fights?
Most likely, we would assume. But I'm not sure they can actually punish it unless they catch him out and Bjergsen is not there. But the thing is, with Team Solo Mid's lineup, it's 1 man pushing and 4 men moving together. So when you play against a pure team fighting composition, Zilean is just so good. He's extremely bad against split pushes because then he can't really do anything. Against team fight and pick potential, he shines.
Yeah. Especially when the backline likes to clump or just the zone he offers. Very often it's just not even the bombs being used, it's just the threat of the bombs being used that just puts you in such a shift as you approach that team fight.
And it's important to bring protection when you go deep. That's how it is.
Really? Okay, that's
Keep going, just want to add it in.
Today I learned, I believe, was the phrase that Mitch used earlier, and I've just learned something else there. So, but Svenskeren...
You just learned that?
Well... Okay. I learned it a while ago.
We might have a few mini demons in the crowd.
Let's not go into that. Yeah, let's not go into that one. But anyway, keeping it clean. It's a family show, boys. It's a family show. TSM, we've probably lost quite a few people with that, but we're on our own here at the moment. But as it is...
That's fine. We just still have each other.
We do. 7-4's the score, guys. That's where it is. League of Legends, 3K difference.
Baron, Rift Herald.
Before I start throwing some Counter-Strike terminology in here.
He's roaming. Hanser will get a tower. Bjergsen is just here to push crazy away. Ares might look for a kill.
He just used his ulti on Bjergsen. That's a little presumptuous when they knew Hanser was so close by. Hanser immediately puts the damage down onto Ares. And, you know, we said they like to fight, but that was a little reckless. And that is going to be an easy mid turret. They didn't finish it off, and wisely so, because they would have been caught out there. Double lift. That's enough, though. I mean, that's shredded down. It's just
TSM still, and Bjergsen at Zilean, when the depth shards gets used or the Fates call for the knockup, they still have that protection from the Zilean ulti to prevent that.
Yes. The problem is...
Why are you laughing while you say that, Crepo?
Well, he hasn't built double penetration yet, so it's all right. It's when that starts happening, that's when you have problems. No, carrying on.
Farming the bot lane, farming minions, and rending.
Yep. That's some deep stuff.
Some Kalista mechanics here. When you last hit a minion, you gain gold, which you use to buy items.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and now he can go back to base and buy items.
So much has changed since I left.
Oh, no, he didn't actually go back. He's hiding. He's setting up a trap.
They're setting up for the Bard ulti here, which is actually down, so they're not setting up for the Bard ulti here.
I'd be running right now. Okay, no, he's all right. He's got Kate coming around, like you say, the Bard ulti, because I can see Svenskeren coming in. Bjergsen will finish off that middle turret. So, the third one of the game. Ever, so far, not gotten themselves a single turret.
And we
start
see
to really fall behind in lane.
Yeah, we see what's happening to these teamfight comps when they actually get split pushed on. It's incredibly hard to get out of that lock. Happened a lot in Season 2 too. A couple of teams right there that really wanted to...
M5?
Teamfight M5, for example. And then there was a really, really good split pushing team out there as well.
That farmed a lot.
Yeah, countered it. It's really hard to get out of that, because Crazy is constantly under pressure here from Haunser, and the remaining members, their engages will become so forced that it's very easy for TSM to react to it.
So as long as Team Solomid sticks to split pushing, this game will just keep going the way it's going now.
And that's one way of saying, I mean, the camera guy's that bored, we're watching the Baron animation coming in.
It's beautiful animation. People work long and hard.
I don't see the Riftel die very often like that, and then Baron comes in.
We may see an actual fight. Here we go. Loken, no, going to run away because Key is there in position. Look at Ares lingering in the darkness, in the reeds, waiting to pounce.
Both middle laners have teleport to join this bot lane party. This is for Gibbon's worst nightmare.
There's no
party. You play against 4 teleports.
No party, no one invited. It's just going to be Haunter and Crazy continuing to go at it in that top lane. And it's going to become a point where Haunter can just cause some serious problems, and Ever are going to have to deal with him eventually.
I mean, once we go a little bit later in the game, he's going to switch his Titanic Hydra for Ravenous Hydra, which is better against these late game tanks. And then with the extra sustain, a lot of S's in there suddenly.
It's easy for you to say.
Then there's nothing Crazy can do other than TP in and actually try and teamfight. If he can push the lane out, he can TP in behind and get a 5-on-5 where he doesn't lose a tower. That's almost the only way for him to have an impact in the game.
Yeah, we're looking at flanks really for both these teams to really open up the teamfights. Obviously, TSM just want to protect Doublet right here. They'll start going in. Ulti misses. This is big for TSM.
Yeah, he's going to have to get pulled away, but they're still trying to fight it. I'm not sure TSM can turn it up at any time here. Haunter goes in, the Grand Challenge goes down. Keith does manage to get himself away.
It's crazy.
He wants to die, but nobody's killing him. Now they do, and that's the Bjergsen ultimate wasted. Now Yellowstar's going to get focused on Ares doing the damage. The laser catches on towards one. He will get a kill. Ares pushes in, and Loken finally will go down. It's a double for Bjergsen, but they're still going in. Captain surprise! Oh, he gets key as well. Touchdown.
So
a 4-for-3. Messy stuff.
The fight is won by Team Solomid, but I feel like we're going back to the first game of the day, where again, Team Solomid can technically win without ever teamfighting properly and just honestly running 4-man and then split push. They opt into another teamfight, which gives the comeback mechanics possibly forever. Even though the bot ulti misses, look how close this fight is, because this is where Crazy has an impact. It's where the Lux can really shine. Early ulti used on Sven to keep him alive. Crazy now joins in, super tanky.
Yeah, we see the difference though in the approach to these teamfights. TSM doesn't really play around their cooldowns very well. So when Bjergsen's bombs are down, TSM is still walking forward. Whereas if you look at Ever, they're moving back and forward really well. But this double bomb right here, that is a turning point. Otherwise, ESC Ever end up winning that fight despite whiffing a complete Bard ulti, which is really rough. Yes, Doublet goes with the outplay. He flashes over the Lux binding. Obviously, don't get hit then and goes for 1 kill into Catherine Surprise for a second. But this is the difference between TSM's approach in teamfights and Ever's. Ever's is actually cleaner. They keep winning these fights from behind by using their CCs and at least playing around it.
So don't take the fights. I mean, that's the strange thing.
Yeah, but I think TSM were genuinely surprised that ESC Ever took that fight. I think they just like, we got this flank, we've got the perfect move, we're going to catch them out. Speaking of people being caught out, Bjergsen's going down. He has got himself the ulti. He's going to try and get as close to that tower as possible. He's got no flash, so... And it will be a kill. Now, what will they get off the back of this? There's no turret still yet for Ever, but they're going to go for an early Baron.
Yeah, they might force a fight here. There's no TP for Haunter. He's stuck in the bottom lane.
They could catch 10 tower.
TSM is behind him, though. I don't think they've seen him here.
Oh, they don't know where they are, so
they're going to sneak in.
Split up.
They're waiting for Haunter. Haunter's running across. Now they see Haunter coming in. There's Yellowstar catches down 3 members with the pulverize. This Svenskeren goes in, tries to secure it, but the Baron turns on him. Now Yellowstar's in all sorts of trouble, and Haunter only just arrived. And sadly, just don't have the damage. Now there's a 15 seconds on Bjergsen. He has teleport. If Haunter can delay them enough here, Double Left arrives. Now he can try and put the damage down, but that's a great catch by Crazy. He's got no flash. He used it in the last fight, but look at the damage he's putting down. Gets himself the double. Can he get the Quadra? I think he just did with the Cathian Surprise. No, Haunter stole it away. What a scumbag.
Oh, Runan, so good that doublelift and immediately buys another one. Then he saw that. Runan's
Another one.
wins that fight, but a couple of big things here. Q getting used by attempt is really big here. Then I think Flash here comes out from Loken to maybe dodge the kick at least, or somehow, because he gets out of that fight, he doesn't get Aris kicked on top of him. That wins the fight for ESC ever up until this point. But the turn here overall from TSM was really impressive. It resulted in 4 kills. But we missed some things. People are dead. They're still dead.
They're still dead. They just tried to dive another one.
So the big part of it, in that fight, when you saw Yellowstar go in, get the pulverized down, Doublelift was about to come into the river and then was like, I'm going to go all the way around, which is why we saw him coming into the fight so late. Which actually worked out so well for his favor because he got himself the triple. Calculated doublelift, or baited, as I'd say in Counter-Strike.
It is still game 1 all over again. We go from Team Solomid winning the early game, being in full control. We're about to say, I mean, this game technically couldn't go wrong. You have got great late game scaling, the Fiora, doublelift, as well, the Zillion to protect. And then we get into these crazy, crazy team fights where Ever actually has the chance to win. Obviously now there's still sick late game comp from Team Solomid, but it just makes it easier for Ever to do something.
And here we're sitting at 26 kills in 25 minutes. So the game is definitely delivering in terms of entertainment value.
But for TSM, when you need a triple Rudons hit to kill 3 guys at once, then you have issues. You know, that's not your win condition in team fights when frontline Kog'Maw has to 1v4.
And that's the thing. It might not loosen the game, but we said the same in day one, in game 1, day 1. Day 1.
Today's day 1.
It is still day 1.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day.
I mean, we are, what, I don't know how many hours. We've been here at 8 a.m. It's now 9:30. So we're 13 hours in, boys. We're doing well. And this is the start of a best of 3. It's only going to get better from here.
Hey, shout out to the fans. There's people here that have been queuing up this morning until like when we arrived.
From 7 a.m.
When we arrived here at 8 a.m., the plaza was like filled with some, really nice fans overall. And they waited nicely. Proper queuing from the Polish.
Proper queuing. Very English queuing. Svenskeren, that's not so good, but he will get out. Loses half his health, though, and then we'll see
what
the cooldowns. Ever can do from this. He needs to get a little bit of regen on that. But like TSM in the driving seat at the moment. They're the ones being aggressive. They are being this clump. Fiora is split pushing. Everything is going to plan,
for now,
barring the 11 deaths.
For now. Again, we could remove probably 6 or 7 of those kills forever and just say they should never really have happened. I like the change from Hanzo. We talked about it. Get the Ravenous Hydra. Better for killing tanks late game. And my voice is giving up.
It's gone on you there, mate, hasn't it? I thought you were getting emotional, actually. I think that's what it was.
It's like, it does make me super happy.
I mean, EU are already out in one group. They got Fnatic tomorrow. Don't fancy the chances. I don't want to break it to you.
That's going to be tough. SKT, QG in there, CLG.
There's going to be a lot of NA greater than EU threats coming out this weekend, I feel.
Let's see if Ever can win this one. I don't think so. Right now, Team Solomid is still pretty far ahead, and they are putting Hanzo in the bottom lane to split push.
I mean, this game, though, TSM got a decisive lead early game to an interesting adaptation on the whole lane swap. But if Ever get a similar draft in game 2, we could see this series go all 3 games, because they have made some really creative opportunities with the Bard ulti, you know, chaining with the Callisto ulti, zero hesitation. They also lose their blue buff here to Svenskeren. Just adding a little bit of insult to injury this game.
That was just with the Q as well.
Bjergsen rewards him by leveling him up. Nice teammate.
It's like playing Digimon or something.
Good job, now level up.
Yep, you get to go to the next stage.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so the next thing for Team Solomid is obviously that Hanzo is split pushing. That is good. You need the other 4 members to push another lane. So you have 2 lanes pushing down at once, so Ever is basically forced to sit in base. And you then have full Baron control. You try to create a pick with the Zillion ulti, or you get the one-on-one kill with Hanzo. Then you can either open up the base, or you can then go and take that Baron 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3. That's the play you're looking for. So get a ping ward in the river near the Baron. They got a few around it. I want to see one actually just in front of the Baron pit. Also, make sure there's nothing.
Yeah, you want one of your purple side outside the Baron pit, so you see those wards being placed over. But you actually want in this meta like an actual warden in the pit. Because these nasty blue wards get placed there over and over, and you don't want to kind of walk in to check if there's a new one. But that puts you down 1 ward on your sidestone, and jungler's only carrying like a few yellow wards. It's actually very hard to maintain complete vision control into triple blue streak. And so Ever, since they're kind of on the same page communication-wise, they should be able to stall out this Baron almost indefinitely.
Well, Doublelift has got a QSS coming into this next fight, which will help him out considerably. especially considering the amount of CC on Ever. It's a different game entirely.
CC on TSM is too, because Bjergsen can shut down any entrance. Oh, with the bombs, good Bard ultimate there, forcing double. I like how he portals in to get in the proper range.
Flanking. Yellow
the
stuff
reaction comes out from TSM.
Coming around, Hauntzers with the TP. They have actually backed out nicely, and that's a cancelled TP. Hauntzers still pushing that mid lane, and he's completely unaffected. Ever all here. This is a 5-man. So TSM, they just simply want to distract them as much as possible while that inhibitor turret goes down, and it's going to work.
And this is the correct play. You see Hauntzzer at first, he's like, should I join the fight? Like, wait a minute. Last time I joined, it didn't work out. Cancel, stay, keep pushing. When you have so much lifesteal here, you actually want to trade on the towers and then back out and just lifesteal back, constantly sustain yourself, and Nautilus is just going to try and wave clear, and that's about it. Suddenly the base is open. You just needed that one move because you kept the pressure going in 2 lanes at once, and then you get your opening.
And Hauntzer's doing a great job at keeping 2 people over. Tempt is kind of like half-heartedly approaching this one. He's now finally come across there. Crazy comes in, nice catch there with the riposte. And TSM collect themselves an inhibitor turret, a tier 2 turret, and back out without being absolutely touched at all. And they're going for Baron.
TSM have learned from their mistakes. The respect flash from double lift outside of the Bard ulti, the reaction teleport in case it was needed, but then they cancel. This is big. Hauntzzer game 1 did not make those decisions. And now we see the zone control from Zilean though. Bombs are down, so there's disengage.
Oh, Crazy's going to get caught out. There's the double bomb. He's in trouble. He will go down. That was a very easy pickup in the end. And that will be TSM undoubtedly finishing off this Baron. Are they going to challenge him? It's just going to be an attempt at a steal, maybe with a Lux Laser, something like that. Ares maybe tries to dive in, which is what he's trying to do, and that's why they peel. That's why they throw him into the wolves. And TSM, easy pickup.
This time not on the same page. They use the Temper Fade, but at the same time, Ares goes into engage range, and the Cosmic Binding just completely whiffs at that point.
And full control now. Inhib is open. They're pinging it already. Got TP for Bjergsen in base. He even has home guard if needed. And you can just rush straight down. There's still, what, 28 seconds on the jungler, 10 seconds on Crazy. Open Inhib. You might even be able to take a bot lane tower here. You got minions coming.
Yeah, there's no reason to go back right now. They do finish the job on the inhibitor. They are going to pass around. Dragon is up. Just going to pass on by, do a drive-by on the red buff. And everything going TSM's way. They surely can't lose it this time.
Doa lied to us last time. That's why he's no longer on the desk. You see the fight. So this is just a disengage. It's the right move. Don't risk like a 50-50 smite with the enemy jungler or maybe a Lux ulti stealing. Just disengage, pick up the free kill, go back and do the same again because now the enemy jungler comes in. This is the miscommunication, Mitch, you were talking about. Ulti at the same time as the jungler is trying to get close enough to potentially steal it. Obviously doesn't do anything and he just ends up dying.
Because in theory, obviously it's really hard to call from above. Tempered Fate can actually make this fight instead of a 5v4 into, you know, disable 3 people and fight the other 2 on the side of Ever, and it can actually outnumber you for a short period of time and then get the numbers advantage. Still threaten the steal with Graves' ultimate combined with the Lux Laser, and then suddenly TSM is in a really tricky position. But yeah, it's very hard to make those calls because so rarely in scrims do you get into a situation where you have to contest 4v5 with these type of numbers with a Bard ultimate available. But it changes the entire like approach to that stop.
How's it going?
It's a speedy Bjergsen replay.
Summer's Drift.
Fast and furious. Well, it says it's a replay, but I'm pretty sure we're live. I don't know. I'm not too sure what's going on now.
It's a test, Demon.
This is like, I'm trying to think.
We're testing your memory
I'm pretty sure
here.
I'm looking at the computer on the right that is live. I think the replay is a lie. There we go.
It's actually 0.5 seconds from the
Trying to
past.
cat me out, yeah. Either that or Kevin's like, I'll just keep it up right now. Catch them off guard. Speaking of people being caught off guard, Ares has to pull the ulti there as he got caught out with the double bomb. This is very aggressive. Hauntzzer in trouble.
Look at the
lifesteal. He just pulls back, goes back in, finishes the tower, and now Crazy has to respect him. He's so fed right now. He's going to pull the damage down onto Crazy. Crazy trying to distract him as long as possible. He's going to pull the attention of Tempt down here, and that's going to leave the top lane fairly open. And that is a second inhibitor now for Hauntzzer.
And this is what I like so much about this build with so much lifesteal, because you're split pushing to kill towers, so you're gonna have to play super aggressive. Let's see what happens if they can actually go in.
It's a good ulti, but there's no follow-up. There's no damage.
No, you don't actually want to face call. You want to follow up with the Cosmic Binding, but as the Bard right there, if you get face called, there's nothing you can do except throw your body in.
That's a nice double bomb. Tempt getting caught by that one. Crazy taking a lot of damage. Having to tank it through. Yellowstar dives in. They're going to all pile onto one. location. That will be one going down. Can they get the second? Aries going to back away. Big shield goes down on towards him, but it doesn't matter. TSM have done the job. They're going to get themselves the Nexus turrets. They will get themselves game one unless anything crazy happens in the next 5 seconds. There we go. It is going to be cleanup time for TSM. They're going to take it 1-0 like they should have this morning in this best of 3.
I'm not buying into crazy playing Nautilus, honestly. I think it
with G2 is, I think we're so good at team fighting and trusting each other that we don't have a lot of problems in situations like this because we just communicate what we want to do and we know that if I'm gonna go in, my team is gonna go in.
Yeah, it definitely worked out that way. Team Solo Mid, they played the map very well against ESC Ever. Hornsa on that Fiora, he was split pushing. Do you think it was a good split push? Do you think it was slow? What was your opinion of the split push and how TSM played the map in this game?
Like Darshan mentioned earlier in the cast, it doesn't seem like Hamza is really focusing on the split push because he went for the Titanic Hydra, which meant kind of more go for the teamfight style because they wanted to teamfight them. Like if he went for the Ravenous Hydra, he can actually like pressure Nautilus. If he loses like trade a bit, he heals up and then he's full HP versus lower HP Nautilus. So I think if he won the Ravenous Hydra, he could have had so much more pressure on the Nautilus. And if he played the Spirish correctly, they would have so much pressure that it would be hard for Ever to like they would crumble even more than they did.
Well, definitely worked out slower, but TSM managed to make it work. We've got a second replay that I'd like to pull up on the screen. It was a tower dive into a team fight in the bottom lane around the inner turret. And Kikis, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how Kog'Maw was positioning during the course of this team fight. Roll the clip out, and you can see the pressure that TSM are putting towards the tower. Even Bjergsen coming in from behind. So is this a good way to tower dive?
I mean, it's good. They take the turret first while already engaging, and then I think W has like red eyes, and he's like, okay, I just want some kills. I'm gonna flash in and actually like kill them, because Kog'Maw can do that. Like he can just go ham because he has so much damage with the W that he can get some kills.
We did see the escape from Key as he takes the magical journey out, and it got scary for TSM, but they managed to turn around thanks to some good Bjergsen bombs. An aggressive play from Doublelift.
Yeah, he just goes for the kills. Like he knows, like, okay, let's say he's not KDA player. Like he knows he's gonna die most probably, but he's gonna get at least 2 kills for that.
Yeah, and managed to secure it. So it was a 4-for-2 at the end of the day. Team Solo Mid, they come out ahead. Earlier today, Team Solo Mid lost a game to ESC because of a Baron throw. It's something that you're very familiar with because of the game against Fnatic a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. How difficult is it bouncing back from a defeat like that? Or is it just like, hey, we made a mistake, it's easy, forget it, move on?
I'm like, in our case, we're like, okay, like after the Baron failed once, okay, let's try again. Failed second time, oh, wait, what do we do now? Okay, we try something again and then fall again because we weren't that experienced versus the Kog'Maw. But thing is, I think TSM might be trying too hard to actually like do something around the Baron area. Like, especially when they play with Fiora, they can focus more on the Fiora speed pushing, and then them setting the play, them like having the vision control all over with pink wards, and waiting like push mid, go take vision control, push mid, go like Baron area, wait for enemies to actually come to you. And at one point, if either they're gonna come, you're gonna kill them, or you can start the Baron and end it.
Well, and earlier today, it didn't work out for TSM. Today, it did. We are going to jump to an ad break very, very quickly. And when we return, it'll be Game 2 of TSM versus ESC EVER.
And compositions didn't really matter that game because it was just a lot of scrapping and a lot of fighting, and compositions weren't really the biggest factor there when it came down to it. I think it was mostly just pressure plays on the map. But I really actually don't like Zilean with Kog'Maw. If you group, it's kind of like a bad version of Juggermaw without the Lulu. Like, obviously, you still have that speed, but you don't have a lot of the other utility that Lulu provides. And then also, when we have Zilean with dive compositions, with a Poppy, I think it's great. With a Fiora where you're trying to split push, I'm really not so much of a fan.
Well, for you guys at home, quickly jump onto Google Chrome Play Store, grab plays.tv. You can record some of your stream highlights and push those out. We are jumping into picks and bans. Kickers, the Zilean, you mentioned it yourself, saying how it would just revive Kog'Maw to die again. We actually saw that happening, but TSM were able to play the map well. Braum, Corki, Kog'Maw, Kalista. When you see all these 80 carries banned out, what does that tell you, Kickers?
I'm actually like not that sure because, okay, you ban all of AD carries, there's not many good left, like you have Lucian and Ezreal, but it just seems that like banning comfort picks like ever doesn't seem to like playing against Koma because they want to teamfight so much, even if their team tells them otherwise, to just ban it, don't deal with it, and like just win the skirmishes.
I'm actually surprised to see that Lee Sin ban coming in last. And, you know, something we haven't seen is that Ever actually is a team that likes to play Fiora, and that hasn't really come into play so far today. I'm curious if it is going to be Alistar or Lucian, because it could just be Lucian and Fiora here taken on the other side of the draft forever.
Considering the performance of Yellowstar today, it feels like Alistar would be the smarter option, and it has been locked in, so the safe pick. And that does allow Nidalee, Gragas, Fiora.
But Aries not much of a Nidalee player. They've been just running Graves. This entire tournament so far. When he doesn't get Graves, he'll play Rek'Sai typically. He isn't really cut from the same cloth as a lot of carry junglers. So I think you've got to take the Lucian here with all these 80 carries being banned out. And there's the Fiora. So this is what I would expect them to take in the first round of this draft.
Going to change in a few seconds, maybe. But the Nautilus is up and available. So for our Tonki player, Kikis, if you see the Fiora locked in, what would you do to either counter this or play into it?
I mean, of course, there's a lot of picks you can actually go for that are fine against Fiora. Like me personally, I think I would go Poppy at this point and just try to teamfight a lot. Like, it's really good versus both Lucian, and you can just lane versus Fiora. You have some windows that you can actually 1v1 and then kill her when you get 2 AD items. And overall, she's such a strong teamfight champion that TSM could just go with her, have some pressure on the Fiora, and then make some TP plays.
And it's something that Hornset has a history of playing as well, so option is available. Ezreal and Elise locked in for TSM, the Bard and the Nidalee. So Aries actually moves away from the Graves. Is that a surprise, Monty?
Yeah, I actually think it is a surprise. We'll see how he does on it. Aries has probably been the least impressive player on Ever so far today. He's been in some pretty awkward situations. I'm curious what he can do on that particular champion, but they're setting up for a 4-1 split composition. However, they are very fragile with the Braum banned out. We didn't see Key hitting the best Bard ultimates in the last game, which really makes me worried.
I think at this point, okay, TSM sees them going for split push, and like 4-1 with poke kind of, they should go for mid laner that can actually play TP, like Lysandra is really good for this, and look for team fights all the time.
Well, let's see if that gets locked in. 10 seconds left to go. If the Lysandra is locked in, what top laner would you pair with that to help deal with the opposing team comp?
I mean, at this point, I would probably go Lysandra Poppy and then just teamfight a lot. You can even go Malphite and just look for the TP plays, but instead they just try to match the split push because Queen is actually good pick into Fiora if you play the matchup properly, because after you get 1 item and then you get QSS, Fiora cannot do much against you unless you screw up.
So team composition locked in for Team Solo and Monty. A little bit more well-rounded this time round. What's your opinion on the complete composition?
I think you do have a strong mid lane presence with the LeBlanc and the Elise. At least you're going to be able to pick up some kills there. You could dive it with the Alistar if you need to. They're still going to be looking to scale up with the blue Ezreal. But again, I agree with Kikis. You can have an advantage in the 4-1 split in that regard if you have that Quinn into the Fiora. I'm a bit surprised. I was going to say Lux is probably the choice they're going to go with here. It's a matchup that is frequently played in Korea. They like to play Lux into LeBlanc because basically when LeBlanc comes in, you can Q onto her distortion when she goes back, and it's very easy to get that burst with a Thunderlord's proc and trade very efficiently with that LeBlanc.
So we have the team compositions now completely locked in. Split push versus split push, and a matchup that Tempt is going to be very familiar with. Kikis, you were wrong when I asked you to predict who was going to win game 1. Let's see if you can predict the correct winner this time round when you see the team comps and you see them play.
I think TSM is gonna win this mostly by just putting a lot of pressure on mid lane and top lane so they can get both Bjergsen and the Hunter ahead, because if they're ahead, there's not really much they can like stop them. If Leland gets fed, she can poke all of them, they're immobile, and just try to get some catches. And together with Ezreal, if they get like one Cocoon or like Alistar combo, they can just one-shot most of them.
All right, so the tools are in TSM's kit. Monte Cristo, will this be a 2-0?
I think it will be, not because of any compositional reason, but simply because TSM is playing the map better. They were the ones making the aggressive plays. They'll be able to do it again with LeBlanc here. And Ever have looked really discombobulated when it comes to responding to TSM's pressure.
All right, we'll see if TSM can keep the focus going. It is getting late in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with game 2 right after this.
Further against the Korean challenger team. I say that because this is almost like a cup game. Effectively, it is a cup game, strangely enough. But in a traditional sport where you'd see an early round knockout stage, you know, these big giants like, I don't know, Man United against some some little small team. Don't you dare say Liverpool.
It's
Don't
like
you
Liverpool
dare
loses
say
to Leicester.
Liverpool.
What's it called? Leicester?
Leicester is good now. Leicester's like legit good.
We're playing Man United in the Europa Cup. That's next week, and I'm going to miss it because I've got a cast. I'm quite sad. But anyway, that aside, complete distractions. Let's get into this League of Legends malarkey.
Yeah.
What do you think of this pick and balance? Because TSM have got a very aggressive setup here, and you yourself were saying, Lissandra, 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 and they went with Lux.
I think Lissandra is a super good pick into LeBlanc, and also think you could actually try and match some of the 1-3-1 Team Solomid is able to pull out later in the game. Beat on this Quinn together with Fiora when you have a TP Lissandra coming in. For me, Lux is just too slow, and I think, yes, she's a pick that's been used into LeBlanc a bit. I think it's a risky matchup, especially because Tempt has not been that great of a player compared to Bjergsen, who has a fantastic tournament so far.
Yeah, it's what like Monty said on the desk. Yes, it's picked a lot into the LeBlanc, because if she dashes straight, you can either aim it at her, or when she distortions back, you can get her. But if ever wants to be the Leicester of this tournament, though, they need to start playing a lot better right now, because it's such a hard composition. Because Bard to play into Ezreal, LeBlanc, too, even a mobile Quinn, and at least with Repel, literally everybody is kind of catch free at least once, so you need to catch him twice. By that time, you may as well be dead.
I am happy though we see Crazy play Fiora this game here, because he is a super good split pusher normally, and he's been playing these tanks all tournament long. So I think we might see his real performance now. Problem is Quinn is a really good matchup into Fiora, so there was a counter pick ready for Team Solomid.
And the one thing we need to not see from ESC ever is the mistakes they make in early game.
Yeah.
Both times they've played, they've been kills behind very early on and been up against it. Yet, as they proved in the first game, their team fighting, it is there. They can skirmish. They will go for those kills. If they don't muck up within the first 10 minutes, they have a very good chance against TSM.
They're already making mistakes, though. Ares had some severe issues clearing his own red buff there. Like, that took like 10 seconds too long as he pathed back and forth in the brush, and the little minion kept kind of resetting there. And literally should never have a lower clear speed than an Elise, yet he is a little bit behind right now compared to Svenskeren. So that's already like, yes, it doesn't really matter. It's only 5 seconds, but in the matchup, as crucial as the jungle sometimes, those 5 seconds can matter, because it's the first guy to the scuttle, the contest, the invade, the reaction, first guy to the play.
We saw it in the last match against Origin. That one little last hit that Fiora managed to make on the tower, which suddenly like made everything bit of difference. 10 minutes long, it's transcended into a giant gap.
And we got standard lanes, which is good for Evra's bottom lane, but not very good for Evra's top laner. In this case, Quinn, you really want to keep her down early on. Obviously, she does fine after lanes with the long lanes herself, but like, she can be a bully here. I also like the fact that Sven is starting on the bottom side, so he's passing towards top side. He will secure Rift Scuttle on top lane, and he's just there making sure Hansa can play super aggressive, and he will always back him up.
He didn't start on the bottom side. He started at the top side. He actually
did he path all the way down?
Yeah, he did. He did Gromp blue buff, path into his jungle to clear it quick enough so Nidalee couldn't counter invade later on.
Okay, that's smart.
So that's actually really smart adaptation in the matchup, at least into Nidalee, because normally, as we talked about, if you go equal camp for camp for camp, Nidalee will have a couple seconds advantage on every camp, and then she will challenge you on your Raptors or your Krugs. What Sven did was start top side, leave some camps up, go bot side, and then return to the top side, and he now even beats the enemy jungler to the punch here on the top lane duel 2v2.
Do you see how observant a top support can be? Deficio? I mean, I know he did.
He was lucky. He was randomly looking at that.
He did a lot better than you.
I was looking at you, man. That's the problem.
That's it. I am a distraction, and I am stood up. I'm towering over you right now.
Well, it is a good path from Sven. Point is, he ends on top side, gets Rift Scuttler, and he's there making sure the Quinn can be aggressive, because there's nothing to do on bottom side here. You're not going to dive an Alistar like level 4.
No, and the risk of counter gank is too big as well, playing into a Bard here, so definitely right there. And you can see the strength of RS too. You don't...
Bard is super weird feet when he like flies around.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely that was actually the point I was going to. As we see RS of the Raptors.
I mean, I've been to your Bard school. I know what you're going to talk about.
You just want to chime in?
I just want... Oh, no.
When do the Krugs come into this?
Never. We don't talk about Krugs anymore.
We're done.
I'm in rehab.
It's a horse that's been flogged to death.
Don't do Krugs.
Let's see what you did there. Well, Key is going to find himself Yellow Star, but he will just walk away and just take a little bit of base damage. Tempt having a little bit of poke back and forward. This is what Monty was talking about, how Koreans do tend to run Lux actually into LeBlanc. And this is honestly, if you're an average solo queue player out there, don't do this, guys. You will lose generally, but these are pro players, and
pro-ish players forever.
I mean,
right
Korean
now.
Challenger is still pretty pro overall.
It is,
I just hope. I kind of.
He's talking about Bjergsen.
Oh yeah, he's European. Of course he's pro. I just want to see the Athenes come out because now you actually have a good reason to build it into the Elise, into the LeBlanc overall. So magic damage from Ezreal. I just absolutely adore that item, even when people think it's absolute garbage. I just love playing with it because it makes the game a lot easier. Just room for error.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, that wraps up the officials input for this one.
Deep stuff right there.
I mean,
glad I
hey.
brought you alongside to get involved in this one.
Well, I mean, the matchup is going a bit as expected. Tempo push it early. Bjergsen will have...
It's not going as expected because ESC ever haven't died yet. This is the bonus. They're in a great place right now.
Well, I mean, the standard lanes for now. There's not been any weird invades randomly to die or level 1s where you get caught out in the river. I'm not sure how, but you did.
Here we
Bjergsen
go.
going in again.
Full-on aggression from Bjergsen, getting a good trade on Temp there. Gets out comfortably. Crazy also going to put a bit of trade on him, see how his Fiora is against Haunter. Haunter's trying to get the blinding shot down, but now he's in serious trouble. But in comes Svenskeren. There's going to be a nice catch. The Fang's not quite enough. He's going to try and dive on towards it. He's not going to finish the job here. Crazy should be able to get away, but there's the shot from Haunter. There's the support he needed. And there is the early kill. Well, it's within 7 minutes. Bjergsen forced to split away there. The passive saving his bacon.
Hanser played that so well. I mean, he juked the blind from Quinn, then bought enough time to be just on one vital left to really force that Fiora to kind of greed forward, just as the Cocoon comes flying in.
Confident from Ares.
Perfect play overall there from Hanser.
Just also very good timing on the gank from Sven because Crazy got level 6 first, so that's why he went for the all-in. Even though he's down in CS, he could go aggressive. Sven was then nearby. Again, we talked about having this jungler near top side because your way to win this game is by having a super fed Quinn. Bjergsen is very aggressive in
Tricky
here.
stuff. The Ignite's been used as well, and they're going to try and see if they can finish off Tempt. He does flash away. Now, he has just joined back to lane, and that was Bjergsen's basically all in because he hasn't backed yet. He didn't go and stack himself up. I tell a lie, he may well have. As I look at his items.
Oh, he's cheating and started with a lot of gold.
He could be cheating. Loken's going to catch on towards Yellowstar. Well, we may even force a flash out of Yellowstar here. He's going to just casually, coolly walk away from that one. Very confident play from Yellowstar.
I really like to see what Sven is doing in this tournament as well, because they're actually setting him up to do well. You pick aggressive laners where they can push, and as long as he's nearby, he can always win the 2v2 with your team. Instead of, again, having him these farm junglers with farm mid laners or farm top laners and nothing really happens in the early game. It's just not his style. So I like this change, and I think they're going to bring that back to the NALCS as well after this week.
Yeah, we see the cost of those ganks though, because Ares has continuously just been farming, and that's the way you have to approach Nidalee. You don't go gank for gank, tit for tat. No, you just keep jungling until you get a massive CS lead that when you do meet your jungler opponent 1v1, you completely just wreck him.
It does require him, though, to actually time when Sven is going to be on buffs and then invade onto him.
Yeah.
Because right now he's recalling when red buff is just respawned. So yes, Sven is slightly behind, but he's been feeding one of his laners. Also forced a flash in mid lane, so he's applying a lot of pressure on solo laners, which is super good. And he's not the big carry anyway when you play Elise. I mean, your late game is basically just land a cocoon and then you're done your job.
It's okay, I'm just doing the job for you right now and clipping your mic back in. It's all good. Nobody heard that big clunk.
Things are falling apart here at the caster desk. Randomly, the Fisher's mic just unclips.
Got no riot stage manager to protect you here, mate.
I think the mic didn't want to listen to me.
Yeah. Can you blame him?
Sorry, what did you say?
Key with the roaming.
Magical journey. It's magical.
What is he doing up here?
He's
Journey.
just...
He's absolutely zero reason to be topside because he's way too late
what's he
anyway.
gonna do with
He
it?
should be bot lane.
There's 3 members of TSM already here. They've got a deep ward,
he just
so
wanted
know he's
attention.
there.
He's actually basing. He's a strong independent bard. It may be his last game.
No, wait, he cancelled.
It's maybe his last game in the tournament, so he's taking the scenic route off Summoner's Rift, make sure
Well,
he sees every little brush.
That scenic route's going to go to 4 members of TSM as they make their way up. Ares is going to get the bottom tower for this one, but don't forget they've also got Temp's ult. He could come across. I still don't understand what they're doing. And Key's going to get caught out. What?
The most
What was
useless
that?
roam ever. I mean, I try to defend most bard plays, but this one,
You try to give reasoning for,
You guys
try
just don't see
try
it,
get
you
in
know?
the mind of a pro player. Sometimes it's just not possible.
yeah, bit unlucky there from Key. Find himself at the wrong side of the map. Waits too long. Gets kind of.
I'm sure he was called up by Crazy. It wasn't his fault. He was following his teammate's call
Well, he had no protection at least either, so that was the problem. 2,000 goal differential now for TSM. They have themselves a bulky lead, as we were worried. You know, they've been up against this every single game they've played so far. They've struggled early game.
Yeah.
If they're all going to go down here for TSM as well, that's only going to compound the problems.
I want to see a game 3 though, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say surely TSM can't fail this game, and they must close this out beautifully, perfectly, and with no fault of their own whatsoever.
My word, that was awful. I don't know how he missed that one. The thing is, Bart, he played so well on Bard earlier on. Now, can he try and make up for it here? No, Bjergsen, well, forced to flash away there. Has ever tried desperately to get anything, something together. They're trying to latch onto these plays, and, well, maybe nerves just getting the better of them now.
Or jet lag. They must be tired too.
Sure, I mean, both teams, I guess. TSM also arrived, what, yesterday?
Yep.
Did they only arrive?
I mean, actually, they came Wednesday.
They came 2 days ago, yeah.
Both teams did. They got to practice yesterday, and then you went on stage today. But obviously, we've been here for, you said, what, 12 hours almost
13.
now? Same for the teams.
And counting. Yeah, it's been a long day. Key's going to get out of this one. No problem. We're up to 14 hours, boys. We're going strong, so what's their problem? It's like they're playing a game or something. We only have to talk about it. There's a good call in, but Star catches on, gets himself a 2-man pulverizer. Key goes down again, and now Loken's in trouble. He's going to try and get away from this one. Aries, the sacrificial lamb, as he dives in. Now Hunter getting taken low. He's going to drop. It's a 1-for-1 trade now with Crazy joining in, but Svenskeren comes around the side. There's the challenge straight on towards him. Crazy might catch him out here. He tries to dive in. Sven gets one. Oh, and Aries sneaks out the back door. If Bjergsen comes around, will lock him down. Crazy desperately trying to get something. The laser even misses. Crazy. Oh, that's just painful to watch.
But Yellow Star on this Alistar, 2 crucial combos. One at the start, one at the later stages of this fight. So he's definitely finding his footing again, as opposed to getting like needlessly caught. But TSM overall, quicker on the ball, ready for that play. And ESC ever, they just look completely lost.
I think we've just seen a very important thing about the team solo mid pick and ban phase. It is that Alistar being left open. I think you just need to ban it or steal it away as a first pick. Yellow Star is good on this support. Everything else he's been kind of struggling on.
Yeah. He's starting to wander down. He's in a 1v3.
He's the most aggressive bot I've ever seen.
He's got the support. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's got backup. But what are you doing, man?
It's like watching Crepo play solo queue.
This is like tilt territory right now.
What? I take that personally.
It's all right.
You can say anything. You can talk about my Krugs, but don't touch my Bard.
Look, we've all seen your Twitter. Forgiven carries you. We know he does. Anyway, 7-1, TSM.
Let's see the fight.
Big fight.
Hansa's roaming bot lane. That's something you can do on Quinn. You don't have to use TP.
They can opt out of this fight. They choose to face check into likely where they know an Alistar could exist on the map.
And it's key face checking.
Yeah, that's new.
I mean,
that's new.
So he rushes in, he goes down, TP comes in from Fiora, she's now joining the fight. Sven is kind of walking behind tower here, joining a little bit later.
Wait, Lux just used her teleport somewhere, so did she just TP mid or cancel her TP? But that's on cooldown right now, because she's joining the fight super late.
Yellow Star.
Tries the snipe as well on Sven, but it's never going to catch. Well, I mean, this is just, you know, cleanup duty now. They've got wards in both bushes, nowhere to run.
I mean, this laser too, Svenskeren gets out of it. This is just,
And then not got the capability. And the fact the minions finished him off as well. It's just like a kick in the nuts just to finish the game. Peanuts, obviously, is what I meant there.
Obviously.
4,000 almost the goal differential. I can't count. It's 3.7.
That generally constitutes as almost 4,000 where I'm from.
Yeah, I know, but like people like to get technical. Oh dear.
Loken, not so technical.
Oh, you're just looking in the future.
Oh dear.
And Key, we've seen this before.
Oh, this is getting very messy now. This is definitely snowballing out of control. See, even threw the observer off. It's just like we need to watch.
Nah, he just assumes that guy's gonna die. He's like next.
Well, he's just thinking we haven't actually seen double lift CS in yet in this game. We normally get a long period of CS in, but 14 minutes in, 10-1. You know what? What? They were in this exact same situation. 10-1 was the kills. This was the goal difference. This is scarily similar to their first game.
And then they had a proper throw.
A proper throw. They had a couple of goes at throwing it. It was a pretty hard effort. It took a lot of work for them. Do we put that down to Jet Lag as well?
I mean, surely this game...
Where do we go with Jet Lag?
Surely this game, they can't lose.
Surely.
No. With this lead. I mean...
something crazy like a Bard ultimate into a 3-man laser on a Baron has to happen here.
I love
But Key has not been playing good enough to do that in
But I
this
love
game.
the fact that you even get people like Meteos and Co on Twitter, like, they saw it at 10-1's, like, right, okay, I'm going to go to bed early. This is clearly over. And everybody's, I'm looking at Twitter, like, everyone's getting up going, wait, what? They lost that game? How the hell did that happen? It really was I believe the phrase is clown fiesta.
I see you have been keeping up with League
I
of
know,
Legends.
I'm so down.
Like how you did
with
the Yamato
buzzwords.
cannon fingers as well.
Yeah,
You said
no.
it?
Yeah,
you need a little more
Fiesta.
Clown Fiesta. This game was very, very Clown Fiesta.
Well, there we go. See? Twice the fee. You get 2 people. Yeah. Except sadly you don't get a fee, do you? I just realized. Retail, please. Oh, internal jokes. They never really feed that well on the camera. But as it is, TSM, let's see how hard they can push at throwing. I don't think they can do it this time. I don't think so
either.
I think they've learned from their mistakes. I think they very much thought, okay, we're not going to go near that Baron. Well, okay, Crazy still trying it on Haunter. He may get himself the kill. He's going to have to dive the tower, though. A good riposte, not going to be enough. Crazy gets in. Now, can he get out? That's the question. Ares is going to come to support him, but Bjergsen, he's pretty fed right now. 4-0-1, spear to the face will make him have second thoughts.
For now, he might look for another kill. Tempt.
Oh, there we go.
There we
That's
go.
the ignite, and that's the kill.
That's analyst prediction right there.
That's just pure bait. Bjergsen was like, I'm going to draw out the mid laner. See, he's so deep.
I mean, TSM overall have been pitching a tempt for tempt here, continuously outnumbering him.
Oh, the poor guy is only 0-1 though.
0-1.
That's just
He's not
showing-
taking a key approach
It's showing the contempt to that mid laner. That's what
as
it
they
is.
make an attempt on his life.
Yes, we keep on going. Oh, Key, please. Just go back to the fountain. Just go back to the fountain. Loken, you can do the same. This is not looking good. Oh, the ulti didn't even catch on.
BM this
Or just keeps the minions alive a little bit longer so TSM can finish the tower off. This is very much in their hands.
Yes.
Again.
No.
Again.
I mean, the TSM as a team did a good job keeping their players calm, working on the little issues, because they're playing similar things, but they're just executing it a lot better.
Yeah.
And
They were pretty down though after the first game when they
wouldn't
walked
you
by
be?
the casters. Yeah, of course. I mean, that game was sure
I
they
heard
won.
even a certain caster just was kind of insulting their gameplay as they walked by.
That was a mistake. Me and Dor were talking about the game and how could TSM possibly lose it, and then the team walks around the corner and they all look at us and they're like, oh, hey.
You do realize you have to be critical of these players as well.
Yeah, but not right in front of them, you know?
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. They know they've made a mistake.
That's when you rub it in, you know? Do you remember that one time where you guys threw a 10K goal?
Like 5 minutes ago when that happened.
Yep.
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. So did anyone ask Origin if they wanted to go in the desk after they lost? No. No, too soon? Too soon. Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, back to this game. There's not a great deal going on other than TSM in full control of the map. You can see it yourself. You got your eyes. You don't need me to tell you unless you're watching on a, I don't know.
I mean, some people
But then
tab
you're not
out
watching really,
during the
right?
game. No, a lot of people love listening
Oh,
to
second
League of
screen.
Legends.
Second screen.
Yeah, second
definitely.
screen is
Yeah,
Playing
just-
an hour round, playing a match, playing
You
a
just
ranked
kind of look
normal,
over and you
whatever
see
they do.
11-2, 7K goal lead. Bjergsen
Then-
is on 5 kills, and then you kind of go.
You just
"Man,
Deficio, Demon. Use those sultry voices to guide me through it.
That's
Prepo,
it,
please
yep.
don't talk too much.
It's good ARAM music.
I get told a lot people listen to me just as they're falling asleep. I'm like,
Is that a
sure
compliment?
that's a
Interesting.
good thing or a bad thing? I gotta be honest. I feel like maybe my voice is putting them to sleep. But here we go.
I'm glad you
Clever.
got my tweet.
This time, 4 people grouped up by the tower, and Svenskeren going to try and catch a play here as we see a
Everybody's trying
lurk
to
around
dive.
the back, and then it's just going to transition across to the middle turret.
That's the rotation from TSM into the mid lane. I'm going to rotate back right now.
It's more like a translation. They kind of took a pretty straight line.
Yeah.
Well, as the guy who is now Monte Cristo after today's broadcast, I say it is a rotation.
Ah.
I mean, they did pivot from point to point, I guess. You could say that.
Because now they're back. And almost taken tower. Double lift will tank the tower.
There's yellow star.
There he is. Oh, nice flash there. Very well played, but unfortunately... Oh, he is going to get away from this one just about. But it will be the tower once again. So 6 turrets to 2. Big big goal difference. 8K at 20 minutes. Very, very convincing performance from TSM here against the ESC.
Yeah, and the important thing is Baron has just spawned, so there hasn't really been a chance to take a stupid Baron and lose the game just yet.
There's still a chance.
I think they are so far ahead now. They've got early towers and they've been playing super well. I mean, full credit to Team SolarMid for picking up themselves after that first game. Obviously, they should have won it. We talked about it, I think, probably a million times so far. And now they've just been playing super well. Ever doesn't really have anything they can offer, not even in game 1.
And it's just so rough against some of these builds too, to actually like stay on the game too. The LeBlanc build from Bjergsen actually snowballed super well. Just shreds all your MR. Hoodman Nomicon for that CDR overall. Now going to a Void, so he's just not allowing anybody to build any semblance of tankiness. And he just wants to 100-0 them. Just
I like the confident play they're doing as well right now. They're not trying to set up, try and draw them into the Baron play. They're just like, no, let's just bully straight up the mid. Let's cause ever some serious problems, force them to play our way. Haunter already peeling off to go down that bottom lane. They're going to get full vision control now of that top half of the jungle.
Push in, then vision, then base for more wards, push in again. Hopefully don't get caught. If you get caught, you are Alistar.
Oh my word, that's going to be beautiful stuff. Bjergsen gets himself a very easy kill. Key goes down again to double lift. It's a 3-0-6 double lift, 6-0 to Bjergsen. This is just playing brilliantly by TSM now.
Alistar is too good of a pick for Team SolarMid. Like, it makes Yellowstar look so strong with these engages. He can invade in first, and then he can always just take the fight. I think it's too good of a pick. I mean, I want to see him on Braum again. I want to see him on Janna. We know he's a good support, obviously.
But Alistar hides your weaknesses. And Yellowstar has had a lot of weaknesses, mostly in these lanes.
This is live, by the way, guys. This is not a replay. They are still going fighting.
I mean,
this is proper play-by-play cast.
I know, right?
You can start shouting anytime you want.
The Baron. Yeah,
too slow. Oh, well, it was close. No cigar this time, though. 14-3. 10k goal difference, and I believe you have a thing called a Baron
power play.
Baron power play here, brought to us by Spellsy. Beautiful little graphic, but sadly, we don't have that.
We don't have access, so we'll have the Fisher manually track it. He's going to do the math right now.
All right, so this is super good by Yellowstar. He gets a 3-man knockup, I believe, after. Yeah, actually, a guy even dies. He would have been 4. Again, this is what you can do with this Alistar pick. It's so hard to collapse on him, and he's always the guy walking in first to set up vision. That's why on some of these other support picks, he gets caught out and he ends up dying because he's the first man invading. You can't do that against the Alistar. It's too good of a pick for Team SolarMid.
Just hides lack of synergy very well, as we see Key. Sadly, this is not a replay for Key.
No, they had to pull out the replay early because it's another death for Key. It's a 0-6-0.
Was that really worth it, though, pulling out the replay to Key dying again?
Well,
I mean, he's been overextending, honestly. He's been like running forward.
I mean, that's where it all started. It was that massive overextension from Key. We were just wondering what he was doing. It was a 1v3 in the top lane, and then he just got caught. You literally said it at the time, even but way before he got caught. It's like, what is he doing? What is he doing in this position? And maybe it's just those pressure plays in these tournaments. I mean, these guys won Cologne. They have won tournaments. They won the Kesper Cup. They beat SK Telecom T1. A week after the World Champ, they won the World Championships.
Yeah, but then sometimes...
Then they had a few changes.
If you overdose the magical journeys, sometimes it takes you into a dark place, and then you end up just suiciding in the top lane.
I think he almost went full foreign on that one. I don't know where to go with that one to finish it off.
Let's just cut the mic.
Let's just like cut. Let's carry on. But Double Lift taking a lot of damage there. He managed to back away. But 8-0 to Bjergsen. Fantastic stuff from him today. And you know, when you get a LeBlanc at this stage doing this much damage, this fed, it's really hard to play against him, especially when you got squishy champions like Tempt is on there with Lux and of course the Lucian.
I wonder how efficient that Void Staff even is at this point, and whether Rabadon's isn't even more just pure damage.
It's still good because you're against
Aegis, but
Aegis as well.
He has like 40.
You're just assuming Key's in the team fights. He's normally
sure, if Key's there alive to give the MR. It's always a good item because it's so much cheaper as well than Deathcap. You just spike a lot earlier, and you can just keep snowballing from there.
Can I just point out that Haunter is actually the feeder of the team? Nobody else is dying.
Yeah, 100% death participation here. So maybe TSM at the end of this game will walk over to him for a different conversation. Last game, obviously, he carried.
I mean, he had the first kill as well, first blood. He had the support from Sven. Where was that when Dyrus needed it?
In Europe with SK Gaming.
In Europe with SK Gaming, yeah.
Let's see,
things have changed.
One inhib left on top side. 25 minutes. I mean, you can basically one-shot anyone if you're LeBlanc at this point.
Didn't one-shot. Oh, Key.
Close.
And he's the one with the MR.
Oh, he almost jumped into it.
That was just a little sidestep. But there's going to be the inhib turret going down. Third one of the game. A 9-2 tower differential. Dominant performance from TSM here as they try to close out. Looks like they're just going to wait to see if Ever are going to push out, wait for all the minions to come in, get themselves piled up. Triple stacked on in. Crazy's going to get caught out around the side. Didn't really have the damage down there. Ah, there we go. Key goes down. Managed to get the ulti off just in time on Yellow Star, but it's not going to do them a great deal of the job. It will be TSM picking up a 2-0 simple victory over ESC Ever, like they should have done this morning. It's been a long old day for both of these teams, but it will be TSM going through into the semi-finals tomorrow. Sunday, balls.
No, he's not here. He's Cloud9. Yeah. But overall, TSM...
I will say, I just want to quickly edge it. They're probably playing SK Telecom now.
Yeah, they're likely to go up against SKT and...
Yeah,
even despite some odd turns we made in the course today, RNG make it out in first, TSM in second was one of the mostly predicted outcomes